Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a grid trading expert advisor using MQL5. Let me briefly explain the strategy. Grid trading involves opening positions at equally distanced grid levels. We open long and short position at each level. We take profit the next grid level, which means that if we start trading, for example, here, the take profit of our first buy position will be the upper grid level, and the take profit of our short position will be the lower grid level. And we repeat this action again and again. So let's assume that we start trading here, opening long and short. Here we are taking the profit of the first buy position, opening another buy and another sell. Here we do the same, taking the profit of the second buy position and opening another long and another short. And here again we do the same. And usually this strategy performs well when the market is moving sideways, because we are taking the profit of the different positions. At the same time, the loss is insignificant because prices doesn't really change. So when market is ranging, you can expect grid expert advisors to perform well. But on the other hand, when we have directional movement, when the market is trending, we are accumulating volume in one particular direction. If we keep using this example, we have here one long and one short. Here we have one long and two shorts because we've taken the profit of the first buy position. Here we have three sell positions and just one buy because we've taken the profit of our second buy position, four sell positions and one buy, and so on. Obviously the challenge comes when the market moves in one particular direction, and when the trend is bullish we will accumulate sell volume. When the trend is bearish we will accumulate buy volume because we don't have the opportunity to take the profits of our buy positions. Let's move to the code now. Of course, as usual, I've created the script already because it's actually a few hundred lines, and I don't want to spend a few hours explaining everything and writing down everything from scratch. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes. It doesn't represent financial, investment advice or any kind of trading recommendation. And what we do first is to import the trade class and to create an instance of the trade class. Next, we define our input parameters. These variables could be adjusted. The grid distance is set to 1000 points, which for Euro USD will be 100 pips. The default lot size is 0.01 lots. When we exceed the maximum difference in terms of volume, we can use the multiplier to increase the size of our buy positions in this case, because remember, if the trend is going to the upside, we have a few open sell positions but just one buy, and in this case we can use the multiplier to increase the lot size of our newly opened buy positions. And of course, to the downside, when the trend is bearish, we can increase the size of our sell positions. This is why we have this multiplier. It's set to 1 here, but of course all these properties could be adjusted. Also, we want to control the maximum number of positions, so if it exceeds 10 by default, we are going to effectively restart the expert advisor. And you can access all these input variables and change them from this window when you start running the expert advisor. Now, also we want to use a few global variables. Initial equity, to store our initial equity information because we want to calculate performance, the starting time of the expert advisor, the long and short volumes, the long and short number of positions, the upper and lower grid levels, and Boolean variable which will be used to place our initial pair of trades. We also want to detect direction using a predefined set of values, having sideways, bull trend and bear trend as the three different options, and initially we set the direction to sideways. Now let's move to the event handling function. Of course, you can download the code from the link in the description. On init function, here we set our magic number, the initial equity, the starting time, and Inside on the init function, we are calculating the change in equity. The main loop here, as usual, you've seen probably my previous videos, and you know that I prefer to develop everything into different functions, which makes the debugging process and future changes much easier. But what we do here, just briefly, and next I'll explain each of these functions in details. We want to check for a new bar, and if the first round boolean variable is set to true, which is its default value, we want to place our first pair of position, one long and one short, and to set the upper and lower grid levels. This is what this function does. And because next we set this first round variable to false, on the next tick, this code block wouldn't be executed. We want to count the number of positions and their volumes. We want to establish the direction, which is again sideways, bullish or bearish. We have a function which is used to effectively restart the expert advisor. This one places new orders. When we hit a new grid level, we are opening new positions. And just one function that double checks if we always have at least one buy and one sell position opened, because this is essential for grid trading. Now let's move to the functions. We want to store information about the volume of the long positions and the short positions, and the number of long and short positions as well. Here, this is just to make sure that the code runs smoothly. We want to access the volume step, which is, if you go to the symbol specification, you can see here that volume step for Euro USD is 0.01, which means that it has 2 digits after the decimal point. And I want to find out exactly this information, how many digits are after the decimal point. This will be used only for routing purposes. Next, we are looping through our total number of positions, selecting them by ticket, checking for our magic number, and extracting volume information for each position. This is normalized to reflect exactly these digit numbers that we obtained from the symbol volume step. And we want to know also position type. It could be buy or it could be sell. If the position is of type buy, we are increasing the volume and the total number of positions by 1. If it's sell, we do the same, increase the volume and store it into this short volume variable and increase the short position number as well. Now, once we have this information, we want to move to the select direction function. If there is a significant difference between short and long volume exceeding or equal to this variable, input variable, we want to select the direction as bull trend. So here, for example, if we use this situation, when we have a bull trend, we are taking the profits of our buy positions here, 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 but we don't take any profit of our short positions, which means that at some point our short volume will be much higher than our long volume. And in this case, I want to set the direction to bull trend when short volume exceeds long volume by the maximum allowed difference. In the other direction, when the trend is moving to the downside, we have bear trend, again established by volume differences. And the third possible option is sideways, which means that the market is most likely ranging. The next function, DO entry, is actually called by the function that places orders. And let me explain what's the idea here, because you can actually implement grid trading by many different ways, but usually traders place limit orders at different grid levels. Well, I want to implement a slightly different approach, which is to check if we have closed a position because the take profit was taken. And if this is the case, we have now the option, the opportunity to open new pair of trades. So for example, if we have a buy position opened here and it takes the profit at the next grid level, we want to access historical information about the deals, and if the deal was closed because of the take profit, we now can place new orders to open new buy and sell positions. And this is the idea of this function. It will select the history from the starting time of the expert advisor until the current moment. It's going to select the total number of deals, and it will access the ticket of the last deal. And we want to access certain information about this last deal in order to understand if it was closed because of the take profit. If you hit, for example, here and press F1, you can see that deal entry is entry in, entry out, and here you can also see that the reason could be take profit. The deal was executed as a result of take profit activation. It could be a stop loss or something else, but we are interested in this particular case when the reason is take profit. And let me show you actually how this information is stored in MetaTrader terminal. If you go to the history tab of the toolbox, you can see here, select first deals. You can see that under the direction column, you have in and out deals. When the deal is in, well, this means that your order to open a position, when your request was to open a position, was successfully executed, and we have a deal in this case which is in. So in is when we are opening a position, and when we are closing one, we have out, entry out. So this is what we do in our code. We are selecting the entry in, entry out. The reason, of course, we work for our magic number, and the reason for the deal could be, as I've just shown you, take profit, stop loss, or something else. And we also want to extract the price of the deal. And once we have this information, we want to check if these conditions are met, which means that the deal entry was out for our magic number and the reason was take profit. And if it was executed above the upper level, above the upper grid level, or below the lower grid level, well, this means that we've taken the profit at the grid level, and we can now place our new orders to open new positions. So the function in this case will return true, and we can move to the place orders, where this function actually is called. So when we have take profit, the function returns true, and of course all other conditions are satisfied. So here inside the place orders function, first we want to check if we can open new positions, because if the total number of longs and shorts exceeds or is equal to the maximum allowed positions by our input parameter, we don't have permission to open new trades. And the next condition we want to check is the function that I just explained. If the deal entry function returns false, we don't want to execute new positions. We don't want to open new positions because we don't have these conditions satisfied here, all of this. Okay, but if you have permission to trade, we can call again the count position number to check volume and number of long and shorts, and to select direction. It could be sideways, bull, or bear. And what we do next is to extract information about bid ask prices to define new buy take profit, which will be the ask price plus grid distance multiplied by point and normalized for the digits of the trading instrument. And we do the same for the sell take profit. We have here the base lot, which will be normalized here for this step. I already explained this idea to make sure that we are trading volumes that are relevant to our trading instrument. And here we have something multi-lot, which is multiplying the default lot size by the multiplier. Okay, so let's see how we implement this information inside the core logic of the function. If the direction is sideways, well, in this case we want to trade only base lots for our trade orders. For the buy order we use base lot, for the sell order we use base lot as well, and all the other parameters of the function, take profit and so on. Again, here we want to set the next grid level, which will be the take profit of the newly placed buy position, and here the lower grid level will be the sell take profit. If the direction is bull trend, well, this means that we have significant sell volume accumulated. And in this case, we can use the multiplier, which is here, this multi-lot. You can see that for the buy position, we use multi-lot, but for the sell position, we use base lot. And when the case is bearish trend, we can use multi-lot for the sell position and standard lot for the buy position, again adjusting the grid levels with the newly placed take profits. Okay, so let's move now to the next one. This one is straightforward. This is used just once to place the starting positions, the first two positions, one long and one short. I'm not going to explain here this function because it follows the exact same logic as the one described already, but we place the first buy position for the base lot and the first sell position with base lot, and we set the grid levels. The next function is reset to initial grid. Now you can do a few things here. Usually at some point when you exceed the total allowed number of positions, you can close all of them and just start with new buy and new long, setting their take profits and so on. But I'd like to implement a slightly different logic here because I want to reduce trading costs as maximum as possible. So the idea is that when we exceed the maximum number of positions, we will close all of them except one buy and one short, one sell. And we will have to adjust their take profits and volume if necessary. And this is what this function does. Of course, first it checks if our total number of position is less or equal to the maximum allowed. Our default value is 10. So if this is the case, we don't have to reset, but otherwise we have to look throughout our open positions and keep only two of them open. So how to do this? First I want to extract again bid and task information and to find the mid price of these bid task values. This will be our current price, and I want to find the two positions, the long and short, that had been opened at price which is closest to the current price. So their opening price was closest to current price, and I will keep open these two positions. So let's define a few variables to perform this operation. Again, here we have to loop through all our open positions, select them by ticket, check for their magic number, and extract their opening information, open price information, and their type. It could be buy or it could be sell. And we want to find the difference between their opening price and current price. Let me briefly explain what's going on here. Let's focus, for example, on buy positions. So on each iteration, we are accessing a buy position, and let's say that the first one has opening price of 1.10 and our current price, this value here, the mid price, is 1.09. So in this case, the difference will be 100 pips. But let's say that on the next iteration, we find another buy position with opening price 1.095. And the current price is, of course, again 1.09. So in this case, this position will be the difference between its opening price and the current price will be 50 pips. So the first one should be closed and the second one should remain open. Of course, we are looping through all the positions, narrowing down to the one that has closest opening price to current market. And this will be the buy ticket that we want to keep open, but all the other positions should be closed. And this is what we do here. We are selecting the type buy, and if the difference is less than the previous, we are adjusting these variables. So in the end, we will keep just one ticket for our buy positions and just one ticket for our sell positions. This should remain open. And we are closing the positions here inside this loop, where we want to implement exactly the described logic. we want to close all the positions except the buy ticket and the sell ticket. And we use this position close method to perform this operation. Once we've done this, we should have only one buy position and one sell position, but we don't know if their volume is higher because maybe we've used the multiplier before, and also we don't know if their take profit prices reflect the grid trading strategy. This is what we are trying to achieve to effectively restart the grid. So we want to call another function, which is to modify take profits and volume for these two positions that remained open. So this is the function. It calls buy and sell tickets. It uses buy and sell tickets as parameters. And again, for the buy ticket, we want to extract the volume information for our long position. If the volume is higher than the default lot size, we want to close the unnecessary volume, which is here, the difference between the volume of the position and the default lot size. And this will be closed here using the position close partial method for the buy ticket, and the amount is again this difference between the volume of the position and the default lot size. Okay, and once we've done this, we want also to modify its take profit here, position modify method for the buy ticket, and we do exactly the same for the sell ticket. We check for unnecessary volume. We close partially this unnecessary volume, and next we modify the take profit, and effectively this function here that is used to reset to initial grid finds the two positions that we want to keep open and modifies their volume and take profit using this modified take profit function. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is used just once in the beginning of the script. So we want to open our first positions once a new bar is detected, and in order to detect a new bar, we are comparing static datetime variable with a non-static one. When we find a mismatch between the two variables, a new bar obviously has opened, and the function returns true in this case, and we adjust the two variables to hold the same values, which means that on the next tick the function will return false until the moment where another mismatch is found, and the function returns true again. So this function is called just once. And the final one, which is double check. This is important because we want to make sure that we always have at least one long and one short open, and because sometimes the market is extremely volatile, there is significant slippage or something else, the expert advisor could behave a little bit unpredictably. So we want to make sure again that we have at least one sell and one buy, and to do so we are checking if we have one or more long positions opened and zero short positions at the same time. And if this is the case, we want to place sell orders to adjust the balance between long and shorts. And if we don't have any long positions, but we have one or more short positions, we want to place buy order for the respective volume to restore the balance of positions. Okay, so that's it. Let me quickly show you once again the on-tick function, because now when you've seen all the functions, probably you understand the logic flow. But first we execute just once this code block when we have new bar and when the first round boolean variable is set to true, which is its default value, and then we place the starting positions. They're opening one long and one short with default volume size, and we also set here the first grid levels, the upper level and the lower level, and because we change the value of this first round variable to false, on the next tick it will be false, so this part of the code wouldn't be executed. We use this function to count the number of positions, long and shorts, and also to find out what are their volumes, long volume in total and total short volume. Next, we establish direction, sideways, bull or bear, comparing long and short volumes. We have this function to reset to initial grid in case when we exceed the total allowed number of positions, which is 10 by default, and we keep just one buy and one sell, and adjust their take profit and volume by calling the modify take profit function. This one is used to place new orders, to open new positions when a grid level has been overcome and the take profit was taken. We can execute this logic, and sometimes we use the multiplier if we have significant exposure in one direction. And just to double check if we have at least one buy and one sell throughout the execution of the expert advisor. Let's move to the strategy tester now to see how our expert advisor performs. I'm going to run the backtest on EURUSD. These are the input settings for grid distance, 1000 points, which is 100 pips for EURUSD, default lot size of 0.01. The multiplier of 2 should be activated once we detect a difference between long and short volume of 0.02 or more, and the maximum allowed number of positions will be 5. Once we exceed this number, the function reset to initial grid will be activated. Let's start the backtest. Okay, so the first thing that I'm expecting to happen is once a new bar opens, the first pair of trades to be placed, the first long and first short positions to be opened, and this is exactly what have happened. We have the take profit of the long position here and the take profit of the sell position here, which are our grid levels. Let me increase the speed of the backtest to see. Okay, here we've taken the profit of our first sell position, and another pair of trades was opened, one buy and one sell. You can track the opening time here, of course, for default lot size, and the take profit is 100 pips above and below current market. And what could happen next from this point? Well, if the next take profit is this one, this position will be closed, so only 2 long positions will remain opened with a total volume of 0.02, which means that the multiplier will be activated. Let's see if this is the case. Okay, take a look at this moment. This is when our second sell position took its profit, and the next pair of trades, another sell and another buy, were opened, but the sell position, because we have directional exposure to the downside, used the multiplier to multiply the default lot size by 2, and the buy position was of standard lot size. So what will happen? The next take profit will be this one, this upper grid level or this lower grid level. So once the price hits one of these take profits, one of these positions will be closed, only 3 will remain open, and new 2 positions will be opened. So in this case, the maximum allowed number of positions wouldn't be exceeded. Okay, you can see that this is exactly what have happened. We have another take profit here, and 2 new positions were opened, and once we hit the next take profit, one of these positions, take profit here or take profit here, so the sell position will be closed or one of the buys will be closed, and once we open new pair of trades, the total number of positions will be 6, which means that the function reset to initial grid will be activated to close all the positions except one buy and one sell, and their take profit and volume will be modified if this is necessary. And you can see that this is exactly what have happened. We've taken the profit of our buy position, opened 2 new positions, making the total number of open positions 6, which triggered the function reset to initial grid, and we have only one long and one short with default volume and the relevant take profit levels. Let me run the code at maximum speed. You can see actually that once we exceed the number of 5 positions, we are closing all of them except 2. And if I move to MetaTrader, let's take a look at the graph. All these moments when you see significant decrease in balance are the moments when we exceed the maximum of 5 positions and we realize the loss of a few positions that are closed here, 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 and so on. And of course, you can take a look also at the backtesting results once the expert advisor finishes, the backtest finishes its execution. Backtesting tab here to analyze the performance. Let me quickly say a few more words in the end of this video. Probably one of the most important aspects of grid trading is to control trading costs, and if you significantly decrease the distance between grid levels, you're going to open many positions at the same time. Each of them comes with swap cost and with spread cost and commission costs, and of course, if you have a lot of positions opened overnight, you should be careful with rollover costs as well. There is actually something you could do to improve trading costs, modifying the function reset to initial grid, which uses market orders to close unnecessary positions, but actually they could be closed using the close by method to close one long and one short at the same time using opposite positions. And of course, this is a basic template, just the core logic of grid trading. It could be improved significantly. The multiplier could be adjusted dynamically depending on trending markets. Also, the grid distance should be adjusted, could be adjusted depending on the volatility of the particular trading symbol. More sophisticated logic for trend detection could be implemented as well. Of course, there are so many ways to improve this expert advisor, but once again, this is the core skeleton of grid trading, and I think we should conclude this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this content, and I'll see you in the next video.